Welcome to World Prism. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. In July 2025, President Donald Trump stunned the world by announcing a sweeping 50% tariff on all copper imports to the United States, effective August 1st. This move followed similar tariffs on steel and aluminum, signaling a new era of aggressive protectionism. The administration argued that America's reliance on foreign copper was a national security risk, aiming to revive domestic mining and processing. By making imported copper prohibitively expensive, the goal was to force investment back into American mines and smelters. The message was clear: economic nationalism would take precedence over global trade relationships. The announcement capped months of escalating rhetoric, including a formal investigation into copper's role in national security. Trump's approach was direct: disrupt the status quo and re-engineer a critical sector of the economy. The move thrilled some in the mining industry but alarmed manufacturers and trading partners who feared economic fallout. This tariff was just the opening salvo in a global battle over copper, a metal more vital than ever. Despite its industrial might, the U.S. depends heavily on foreign copper, importing about half its refined copper, over 800,000 metric tons in 2024 alone. Chile dominates as the top supplier, providing 65% of U.S. imports, followed by Canada, Mexico, and Peru. This concentrated reliance is exactly the vulnerability Trump's tariffs targeted. The U.S. once had 11 copper smelters in 1997. By 2025, only 3 remain, creating a bottleneck in domestic supply. Meanwhile, China has surged ahead, now controlling 44% of global copper refining capacity. Even if U.S. mines ramped up, much of the ore would still need to be sent abroad for processing. For decades, manufacturers built their business models on predictable, affordable copper imports. The new tariffs threatened to upend these supply chains overnight. It wasn't just a tax, it was a fundamental disruption to the economic lifeblood of countless industries. Suddenly, America's thirst for foreign copper became a costly, urgent problem. The scramble for solutions had only just begun. Tariffs alone can't revive U.S. copper mining. Building new mines is a marathon, not a sprint. The Resolution copper mine in Arizona, potentially able to supply 25% of U.S. needs, has been stalled for years by environmental and cultural opposition. Native American tribes and environmental groups have fiercely resisted, citing threats to sacred land and water. Meanwhile, the Santa Cruz project, led by Ivanhoe Electric, aims to produce refined copper on-site by 2028, bypassing some bottlenecks. Its Canadian-American backers actually welcome the tariffs, seeing a chance to profit from a protected market. Yet, even with government support, regulatory and local hurdles remain daunting. The U.S. can't simply tariff its way to copper independence. Without addressing these deep-rooted challenges, self-sufficiency will remain elusive. The path to new mines is long, complex, and fraught with conflict. Copper is the backbone of modern life, essential for electricity, infrastructure, and technology. Its unmatched conductivity powers everything from homes to hospitals, and its durability makes it indispensable in construction and plumbing. The green energy revolution is turbocharging demand. Electric vehicles use nearly 4 times more copper than conventional cars, and renewables like wind and solar are copper-intensive. Every smartphone, server, and data center relies on copper's superior conductivity. As nations race to decarbonize and digitize, copper's strategic value is skyrocketing. Control over copper supply chains is now a matter of national security and technological dominance. Trump's tariffs weren't just about trade, they targeted the foundation of future economic growth. The countries that secure copper will shape the next era of innovation and resilience. The battle for copper is a battle for the future. The tariff announcement triggered a historic shock. Copper prices soared 13% in a single day, the biggest jump in decades. Manufacturers faced a painful choice: absorb higher costs or pass them on to consumers, fueling inflation. The timing was fraught, as the Federal Reserve tried to keep inflation in check while tariffs pushed prices up. This policy clash created uncertainty for businesses and households alike. While domestic miners cheered, every industry using copper faced a new tax. Higher costs threatened U.S. competitiveness, as foreign rivals could produce goods more cheaply. The price of protectionism rippled through the economy, from corporate profits to the cost of a new home. The copper tariff's shockwaves were immediate and far-reaching. Canada, the U.S.'s second-largest copper supplier, quickly pushed back against Washington's tariffs. Industry Minister Melanie Joly vowed to fight, signaling Ottawa's readiness for a trade battle. Canada's response combined direct opposition with strategic investment, including major loans and support for its mining sector. The Canada Growth Fund has poured millions into domestic copper and critical minerals projects, aiming to strengthen its supply chain. Meanwhile, the U.S. has taken a more aggressive approach, buying equity stakes in Canadian mining companies and even securing board seats. This marks a shift from supporting domestic industry to directly intervening in foreign companies for national security. Canada's investments are designed to nurture homegrown firms, while the U.S. is leveraging its power to secure resources abroad. The two allies now find themselves on diverging paths, each using public funds to secure their industrial futures. The result? Rising tensions and a new precedent in North American trade relations. The copper conflict is redrawing the map of economic cooperation. The US-Canada copper clash is just one front in a global scramble for this vital metal. The International Energy Agency warns that by 2035, global copper supply may meet only 70% of demand, fueling fierce competition. Africa, with its vast copper reserves, has become a new geopolitical battleground. The US and EU are investing in infrastructure like the Lobito Rail project to channel African copper westward, countering China's deep investments across the continent. China, meanwhile, has built its own railways and ports to secure mineral flows eastward. Competing infrastructure projects now shape the future direction of global copper supply and economic power. The fight is about more than minerals. It's about influence, logistics, and control of tomorrow's supply chains. Trump's tariffs and America's aggressive investments reflect a fear of being left behind in this global race. The battle for copper is reshaping alliances, challenging old trade ties, and defining a new economic order. The outcome will determine which nations thrive in the decades ahead.